Konnichiwa, and welcome to the Samurai Way, the podcast where we dive into the wisdom of the samurai, the art of Japanese living, and the philosophies that help us live with purpose and perseverance. I'm Lori Sagawa, and whether you're here to explore Bushido, the samurai, uncover the meaning of Ikigai, or just looking for a little extra gambaru, never give up spirit in your daily life, you're in the right place. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's walk this path together. Are you ready? Let's begin. Konnichiwa, good morning.
Thank you.
Bokuto. I have a special guest with me from Israel, and his name is Ido Kalev. And Ido is a former commander in Israeli intelligence and aviation security with over 30 years of international experience. From leading crisis operations in 6 countries to rebuilding lives after trauma, Ido now shares insights on resilience, leadership under pressure, and emotional intelligence. He is the author of The Spy Who Led Me, a memoir blending field drama with emotional depth and transformation. So welcome to the Samurai Way podcast, and please help me welcome Ido Kalev. Good morning for me. Boker Tov.
Okay, Tov, good afternoon, Israel. And thank you so much, Lori, for this uh, presentation. I'm not used to this, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it, really. And also for the opportunity to talk about this important, um, it's tradition. It's actually a tradition, but for me, it's a way of life. And I was studying not only today, but today I was deeply in because I couldn't leave it. I was really attached to the Bushido uh, um, way of life, let's say, because I've read and I know Bushido also from the fightings, but the principles, I mean the values and all the way of honoring people, all the way of giving them, the respect, and it is so similar, let's say, although of course it's an ancient history and a very strong inside of the Japanese culture, but I can see similarity to the Old Testament as well. You know, just the principle of the Torah. It's also connected to integrity. We can say mercy, but we can also say, together with mercy, we can say also that it's like thinking of the other side, respecting the other side, understanding that the other side also have a story of its own.
Yes.
So you never know who are you talking with, and you have to be first humble, and then to understand that you are not talking to yourself, you're talking to another person, and this other person have a story. And when we have a story, you don't know it, and until you don't know it, you cannot. So it's really connected me to the Old Testimony, when we call it the Torah, but Old Testimony, it's well known all over the world because there are
Yes, it
two.
is.
So, and both of them are the same in these terms. I mean, so I'm really happy to be in your podcast, really, because
Oh, thank you.
it's
Well, I love having you
it's an
here.
honor, really.
And we, Ido, really, we just met and we were on that other podcast together. I thought that was really interesting. As I was saying,
We will make
we
this.
just
Yeah,
met, and
yeah.
I'm so glad that we met. And, I have a love for Israel. and it started when I was maybe in high school. I went off to college, and one of my favorite classes, we had to have 5 PE classes, was international folk dancing. And out of all the international folk dancing, I loved the Israeli dance. And so that just kind of stuck with me and kind of planted a seed. And um, I did very well in dancing, and I love it. And I still do Israeli dancing even today.
We will dance together when you come
When
visit
I
us.
come to yes, when I
Yeah,
come to
I
Israel,
know. I
yes,
know many places that dance these dances. It's a country. It's
it's
a
so
country
popular
dance.
in
It's popular.
Israel. Hmm.
Yeah, and although I don't dance, yeah, I don't dance it. But if you will take, I'll take you. I
Okay,
will join immediately because I know the steps. It's just
okay.
I
Well,
don't know why, but it's within you, and I know the steps. Very easy.
muscle memory, because I learned dances. I learned those decades ago, and they still stay with me. And last weekend, I shared with you about going to
Yeah,
Portland and speaking to Holocaust survivors. Well,
yeah,
second and third generation. So, as you mentioned, that these principles of Bushido, courage, integrity, benevolence, respect, honesty, honor, and loyalty, are pretty much universal. And if a
yeah,
person adheres to these, or at least adopt maybe one or two, can you imagine how their lives could change? We wouldn't have to have so much security in our homes and police forces, and you could feel like in Japan. I felt very safe there because they that Code of Bushido has gone down for many generations, and you've the honesty is one of the very important ones. You don't steal
yeah.
in Japan. You don't take things that don't belong to you, and children are introduced to honesty by taking first time they find a coin, they will take it to the police station, and then that is a child's introduction to the policeman is your friend. He will help you, and you be an honest person. And so this, like you said, it's universal. And what I'd like to do also is talk a little bit about your experiences and how that Kodo Bushido has been with you, even though you didn't know it. But if you could share a little bit about that, I think our audience would really enjoy listening.
Okay, I will, of course. But the eight principles are really the things that I grew up with. And, when you are young, so I know about you, Lord, because I read and also some things you told me when we've met and also one time. But I've learned also from the from from the information, and I know how you grew up and the way you grew up and what were the problems and what made you also change the path, right? In Japan, you went back and rethink and continue forward. So more or less, I had the same because I was born in a tough neighborhood, let's say, right? Most of the people say in a very poverty, no, yes, but it's a tough neighborhood. And if you don't have you know, a lot of the principles here, which are not necessarily connected to the positive side with the loyalty, for example, it's can connected to the different loyalty, but you need to have also the courage, and you need to have uh, you know you need to have also the honor issue. I mean, it's very important everywhere, but it's a global thing, I think. But when you are young and you learn this, and also when you find, and I did find a few wallets and bicycles that I knew who stole them, and I brought them back.
Mm,
Uh, I learned that, and without the education of my parents, I understood that it's not good. It's wrong. Something is not right. But it's connected to my inner thoughts or character, and I live with it. So, and I also I really like the words that you wrote without you knowing it. I'm just, it's also written in my book, but you wrote it a bit different, but it's the same.
Hmm.
The way of looking at life, and it says every step matters, you wrote, and every effort counts, which is so true. And because when you are in a hurry or you see something and you want to jump and you know obsessed and do it, it's not going to be the one that you actually wanted, right? And
Right.
I was listening to a few podcasts, and I saw someone saying being obsessed on the, but no, no, don't be obsessed, be balanced. Because I wrote today also an article about this. Just be balanced. And of course, you have to set your goals, but plan it. And you wrote every step, and you wrote also every effort. And I wrote in my book, inch by inch and
Hmm.
step by step, we will get to the goal that we want. It's a victory, or it's each each moment has its own, you know, description. So I started as a boy, and then parents divorced. I was alone most of my life. My brother, he was disconnected with me also in Israel when he was in Israel. So, but after the army, he went to the United States, and he's still there. He's older than me, so he's there, and the connection is not that good. Even if he will look, he will say, "Okay, he's right." I wish it was better, but it's not. So most of the values that I took were values that I took it because of the life gave it to me, according to the incidents that I had, and also when I joined the first time the basketball team, which is a very, for me, the turning point, one of the turning points. I had a few, but the first one, it was the basketball, because when I started, and I'm not that, I'm short, I'm just, at the beginning, it doesn't matter. So the thing that I did, I was a playmaker. You know what does it mean? You are actually managing the game for your team, in defense, in offense, in all kinds of tactical ways. I use these terms. I didn't use it then, but today, after 32 years in the military operations, agencies operations, I use terms that automatically comes with me, because that's how I talk, and this it's kind of a language that it's also mutual, but to the agencies around the world, especially U.S. and Israel.
Hmm.
So I joined. I was in the basketball. Then it separated me from the neighborhood, the tough one. It doesn't mean that the next one will not be tough, because it was tough, and it taught me different things. So I had to adapt, and it's good. I worked hard in the high school because I had to learn and to study, but also I had to train. So I woke up 6 o'clock and learned, studied until midnight every day. And I lived far from the high school, so instead of taking the bus, I was running, shower sometimes, and not sometimes. I showers all the time, but because we had the facilities, I just ran, and if it's not a practice, if it wasn't a training, so I went to make a shower and go to class. Then came back to the training. So it was the whole day. And when I joined the army after 4 years, uh, I joined the Navy. I think you know it, and I think most of the, I mean, people that follows me, they know more or less the story because I joined the army and I never, as I said, I never had some father figure, let's say. Only the trainer, for example, the coach. He was a father figure in a way. So I joined the army and I didn't know where to go because I have I had no idea about the units. Who are the units? What does it mean special units? Nowadays everybody knows exactly. They know where to go, what do they want, and how they see their future. We didn't know that, you know. It's just
So it sounds like, from a very young age that the Code of Bushido has been with you and you've been living it.
that's why.
And then when you went into the military, it really assisted you. And
Oh,
now that you found out about, well, this is the Japanese way, but it's universal. These are
yeah,
good morals, never go out of style. That's what I always tell people. And I would share with the women in prison that they don't go out of style and they can assist you. Just adopt one, nothing else,
yeah,
just one, and see how your life can change. And um,
absolutely,
mhm.
absolutely. I said that in a prison, for example, yeah, you know, people are already, you know, they're already adults more or less. It depends which kind of prison you're going to, but there are adults. They did wrong, something wrong, you know, something was wrong. So if they will take only one thing from the eight, and but really take it seriously and dig in and start to establish it and live it, they will have less hard, you know, to go to the second one and to continue forward until they have all the eight, which is not easy, not easy at all. But you can do it. You can do it if you have one that you are, that's the step by step, and that's the inch by inch, because you cannot do it all if you are not used to it.
No.
But if you, yeah, you can't. No, really, it's not easy, but it's not hard as well. So if
No.
you take one, for example, honesty. Honesty, it's not an easy thing. I mean, you know, I don't know, and I not only lived it, I also studied. So honesty, it's really hard to establish. I mean, you need to be very aware, not to yourself mainly, let's say. You have to be aware to yourself, and when you are being honest, when someone is telling me honestly, I say he's not honest. You know, because you don't need to say honestly when you're honest. You understand me? That's the way I see it. Because you don't have to say honestly. I'm saying to you, no. Don't say You are not honest. Let's close the conversation. Because for me, you don't need to say it if you are. It's
Right.
just the way of thinking. You know, just yeah. I was.
Well,
Um,
what I used to tell the women is that, okay, so you have the one principle, but in order to be honest, you have to have courage, because sometimes it's not easy to be honest. And then integrity. And in my book, and I think we shared a little bit about
yeah.
Sugihara Chune and his life. Really, when I learned about his life, how he went and disobeyed the Japanese government because he said
Yeah.
saving lives is more important than obeying the law. I have to I have to help with humanity. And so his story just has resonated with me back in the 90s, and I brought it forward, and I just always had it in the back of my mind. And then when I was in the accident, that was the
Yeah.
first thing I wrote about, was Sugihara and how he risked everything, and he actually lost his. He was a very well respected diplomat, spoke multiple languages, and would go and be in his tuxedo and his wife in her kimono, and they go dining and go to all those affairs. But once this happened, and he willingly disobeyed the government because he says, I have to save lives, and it wasn't a popular thing, and he lost his position. And pretty much died a pauper, which was kind of sad, but he died knowing that he did the right thing. And he finally received that the award from Yad Vashem, Righteous Among the Nations. And
Yeah,
in my book, I have the photograph of it, and it's
yeah,
from his
you're
son.
right.
Just people's lives that you just learn about them and think about, well, I'm just one person, but one person can make a large difference, even if you save one life. The Talmud says if you save the life of
Exactly.
one
One
person.
life. Yeah, yeah. It's really resonates with me. The courage issues. The courage has to be in you to be loyal, to be generous, to be many things from the principles from those eight. Because courage, it takes the fear and it gives the fear a different direction. Because the fear can go to very bad places, but it can also makes you focus. And when you are focused in fear, you're doing it the best way. So it's also courage. And
Hmm.
also to ask for help, it's a courage.
Yes.
It's a very courageous. Yeah, I always tell I'm dealing now with people with PTSD and also TBI with the brain damage, mainly from the army, but not only, mainly from the army because that's what resonates with me, and I'm really into the veterans as well because I think they don't get enough attention. uh, I'm talking to friends all over the world, but mainly, what can we do? Mainly from the US. And each time when we raise the PTSD topic or TBI, why we raise it? Because it's not something that you can see. It's something inside you which is not. And then how? I mean, when you're going to the doctor, you say, I broke my arm. He say, okay, you broke your arm. Okay, I will put something in that. I will fix it. How you can fix a soul? How can you fix a mind and mental health? It's not something shown most of the time, especially with the veterans and with soldiers that are coming from the field of action, let's say admissions, because you will not see it. So how can you prove it, right? You need to cry or you need to fall, and that's the most problematic thing for all of us when we've talked. And a lot of them are known in the US, by the way. I'm not going to say names, of course, because I don't want to put them in a position that they will, but all of them they don't care. And maybe we discuss to take and make podcast about this specifically to others because we are already, you know we have to deal with this, but others don't need to. They
Mhm.
have the ability to ask for help, and if they will ask for help, it's a courageous thing to do, and they have it. We just need to tell them that it's courageous. I mean, that it's courage. And then when they understand that it's courage, they will ask for help. It's like a vice versa.
Hi, Tyler. How are you?
And
What's up?
when we've talked just a day ago about this, we said that we will talk about this because, many people love to hear about missions, right? Where did you do it? Did you go to other countries and without a passport, just visiting without a passport, in places that no one likes you? Of course, we did it. I mean, yes, we did it because that's our job. That's what we did. It's not the idea, but I know it's sexy. Sorry for the word sexy, but, but it's sexy to people, that they're coming to the podcast because they hear missions, they hear cover stories, cover stories. We having cover stories, but cover missions all over the world. crossing borders, And I thought to myself, and also in my introduction, which I didn't make, but it's okay, it's fine because I actually did it, but it has to be the cover ups, the missions, the shadow. But what about the other things? They are not important. I mean, no, they are not these days. And hopefully in the future, we will have to change it and we will
Mhm.
manage. And it's all about us. Us, I mean all of us, to make sure that it's not only about the action, it's also about what's going on after the action is gone and you are staying alone. And it is, you're staying alone. I
Well,
think,
Ido, I would love to be one of your guests because in '05 and '07, I was rear-ended twice. And after the second one in '07, I knew there was something wrong because I wasn't thinking straight. And then I started not being able to read very well. And one doctor told me that there was no connection between the accident and then reading at a seventh grade level, which I was
yeah,
about 20 years ago. So it is a silent disease. And then again, about a year ago, we were rear ended with a huge truck. I mean, it was like a monster.
yeah,
F1 350, I think my husband said it was old, so it was old metal. And from that, I had another concussion. And so I know what it's like. It's not fun. It's not easy. It's hard. It can be lonely, but it's not insurmountable because there are people out there that will help you along the way. And I've
exactly.
have found really good
You
help.
just need to ask it. That's it.
Yes.
You just need to say, please help me. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
I can share my own story after, I mean, I was, I don't want to say the country, but I was in the COVID 1 year, the second year of the COVID. So whoever goes to my, it knows already. I was in Switzerland, doesn't matter. And because we didn't do anything almost, the COVID stopped everything, which is good, yeah. You can enjoy the view, and the view is nice over there, really. I lived in a place like heaven, really, like everything is green, nice. In the winter, wow, the snow, it's like a movie, a good one, romantic. But I didn't see anything. I just didn't see the view. I didn't see the flowers or the water streaming next to my house. I didn't see anything. What I was busy with, and it was the most tough period time of my life. It was 1 month. I didn't sleep. I almost didn't eat. I didn't sleep, which makes you also when you don't sleep, so you want to sleep but you can't. So you're just trying to maneuver yourself, controlling yourself because you have the inner power with you from previous things that you did. But none of that can give you immediately the cure for it. So you have to adapt. And I don't know many people that didn't sleep for 1 month. I mean, completely didn't sleep. How they how they behave. I know how I behaved. I know. So at the beginning, I was trying to make showers and trying to. I was trying everything. Sleeping in the living room, moving to other rooms. I was trying to when I'm sitting. I did. I was dressing myself with. I just pushed myself to dress up even just to go out to breathe the air. Maybe it will help me. That's how it started without sleeping. And you're becoming, nervous because it's nervous, not by, well, again, nervous. So many people will be nervous and they will shout, right? Some of them I heard also throwing, you know, the kitchen, they take all the glasses,
Yeah.
just to, yeah, but this is the episode. And in our cases, I mean, most of us, let's say, I cannot say all of us, but we have this discipline of controlling ourselves. But what does it take from us? A
Hmm.
lot, a lot. If I was able, after 2 weeks, I remember, I cannot forget it because it's something it has to go with me, has, because if it's with me, I know how to control it. If I leave it, it will come back. But even if it's coming back now, I know how to deal with it. So it was important to learn it because it's better that it came. And I wasn't ready for it. I didn't have help. I was in a different country, foreign country, didn't have any doctor to go to, any medicine to get. It was a bit frustrating at the beginning. My wife, of course, helping me. I had I have two daughters, and what I was saying that after 2 weeks of not sleeping, my small daughter, I mean the little one, I mean she's 16, but she was 12, so she had homework in mathematics, and all those triangles, and my wife, she didn't know to really, honestly, honestly, she didn't know how to, do this triangle. So I had to sit with her. She asked me because she said, "Dad, can you help me with the homework?" And usually I say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, sure, why not? Let's sit down." And she had a test, and I was sitting with her, and I was doing with her these triangles and homework, and we were doing this for the test. We prepared her for the test, and she passed the test, of course. Why I'm saying of course? Because I got into it with her. But can I explain you what was inside me when I was doing it? It's kind of a turbulence. It's a turbulence when you are in there and ta, 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 ta. That's what I felt. I felt like it's burning inside, burning like fire, fire. Sometimes I'm preferring to say waves because I'm used to the waves. But we also have a saying, and it's also gave me strength. It's a lot connected to the Bushido because when you have those sentences, those strong and powerful principles, that you can take them and you can take them and they will follow you and you will follow them connected, and it will be easier for you to overcome many obstacles in your life. So
Well,
why I'm saying this? Because in the Navy, we have in our unit a saying that when the waves get stronger, the stronger emerge.
hmm.
And that's what gave me in this moment the time to emerge, to be strong, because I said, okay, this is our sentence. How many times you've been in so many hard situations? So get out of this. No, that's the moment that I actually started the steps, as we said, inch by inch, step by step, and it worked like this,
Hmm.
step by step.
Step. Well, Ido, I think that's a really good segue to about out of time, but you've given us a lot of
So,
advice, and not many people have lived through what you have lived through, in a war-torn country, really. So in America, we haven't known that. We've only been attacked really once, um, and we survived. And the human spirit is resilient, and people want to survive. People want to succeed. I believe deep down in their hearts they don't want to fail,
yeah,
and I don't believe that God put anyone on this earth to fail. I think He has a
no,
good life for everybody. So it's just finding that good life for each person. It could be different, but not to compare one with another.
absolutely. the green of the other side of the, I mean, the neighbors, the neighbors, how do you say it? It's in many languages. It's greener on the neighbor's hood. So no, it's not greener. And everyone has his own story. And he has a package of his own, and you don't need to look at him. Look at yourself, deal with yourself, and be well. Don't look at others, don't be jealous. It's a bad thing. Don't look that he has a lot of money and you don't. No, no. Victimizing, it's the worst thing that you can do. You just, no one is no one's fault that you have a problem. There is no one's fault that you don't have what you want that the neighbor have. It's only you can overcome the obstacles. Only you can make what you want to. If you have a good plan and if you do it step by step, and if you're not in a hurry, although you don't have the money that you want, no, okay, so do it, but do it, okay, but do it good and with a plan. And when the plan is not working, so you go back a little bit, you pause, and then you say, okay, what went wrong? What was the basic? And it's also connected most of the time to one of the values, by the way,
Right.
of principles that we have here. And if you're honest with yourself, you can overcome all the obstacles because you say, okay, in this one, I wasn't, I wasn't that good, and that's it. And you go forward.
Okay.
It's very, we can talk, Lori, for hours.
Yes, we
Because
can.
that's what I feel. But
Hmm.
if someone took something from our conversation, I really like it. I mean, I
Yes.
love it, really.
And one of my favorite sayings: "Good morals never go out of style." Learn from other people. You just look deep within everybody. There's a strength that you just like I didn't know I had when I had the TBI in '07, and then
Yeah.
another concussion. So um, it's not going to let me down. I'm not going to roll over and give in, but I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna
And you
overcome
fought.
this as well. I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
That's it. I mean, I think you summarized it so well because, yes, it didn't work, but it will work. It
Yes,
will work again and again and again. And what is the difference between a loser and a winner? They tried 8 times, but the winner tried the ninth. That's
that's
it.
right.
That's
That's
it.
right.
That's the
Mhm.
difference. Not
Yes, and
only
my next book is going to be about Gambadu, never giving up. And I'm really excited because I have all these ideas in my head. And one of them is the Colonel Sanders. He started
yeah.
his business with his Social Security pension. And Colonel Sanders became a millionaire way back when. And in Japan, they celebrate him. And at Christmas, they have Kentucky Fried Chicken and a Christmas cake. So all things are possible, and I want to thank you so much, and down below
No, thank you,
in the
Lori. I
comments,
mean,
we'll have your information. And thank you. I want to thank you so much for being here on
thank
the
you for
Samurai
having
Way
me. It's an
podcast because
honor, really. And we didn't give up
no,
because I think we understood in a way that we need to talk and to
yes.
have this really.
And I want to be a guest on your podcast about TBI
You will. And I'm
and
thinking,
PTSD.
while we were thinking and talking, I was already, I'm thinking the visionary thing. So I said that we're going to make this podcast about PTSD TBI.
Mm.
And I told you it's about the veterans, but not only, remember? So I would be honored if you will be in this as well.
Yes.
And, presenting also the Bushido
Mhm.
and the principles, because all of them will be connected to it.
Yes, they will be connected. So thank you
100%.
Thank you so much, Ido. Toda rabah for being here.
בבקשה, arigato, arigato. Really, I'm so honored.
Oh, well, I love languages and I know a few words and quite a few languages. So a few more in Hebrew than other languages, but I love Hebrew and I love the food. I love the
Yeah,
dance.
I know
So
what
thank
you
you
like
so
also.
much.
No, I like sushi again, but the hummus and all this, yeah, sure.
Okay, so I want to
Hummus.
say goodbye and thank you so much. And
Thank you.
thank you for watching, everyone. Thank you. Please like and subscribe so that we can get this message of the Bushido out. But it's not just for Japanese; it's universal. These good morals are for everybody, and it'll make the world a much better place if people live like they live in Japan. It's just wonderful. So I want to say goodbye and thank you so much for joining us. And be sure to stay tuned for our next guest. We're going to keep going, and I don't know when I'm going to stop. So as long as I have my VANL with me, I'm not going to stop. So thank you so much. And that's a wrap for today's episode, The Samurai Way. I hope you found a little inspiration, a new perspective, or just something to reflect upon as you go about your day. Now remember, the samurai spirit isn't just about history. It's about how you show up, face challenges, and live with purpose. Whether it's Ikigai guiding your path or a little extra Gambaru pushing you forward, keep walking strong. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share, or leave a review. It really helps. And if you've got some thoughts, questions, or you just want to connect, just contact me. So until next time, stay focused, stay determined, and keep living with purpose. Mata ne.